So Dante Kyle says that black culture is prison culture and prison culture is black culture. He roots his argument on his Grits and Eggs podcast in the fact that obviously the black community is over-policed and all of these things, and that a large percentage of the way that we move and the way that we act is influenced from prison. Prison influences the streets, and the streets now currently influence civilians. My argument is simply this. To be realistic with this, I think that what is not discussed enough is the fact that in 2025, we now have the power to change a lot of these structural narratives. We now have the power to alter and destroy the school to prison pipeline. The crux of what makes the YT system so oppressive and successful in its oppression is it's rooted in the destruction and the deconstruction of the nuclear black family. I've said this for years. I will continue to say it. Black men, when you lay down with a woman and produce a child with a woman, that is God giving you a license to influence a child, to influence another human being's life from the day they're born. That is one of the greatest, if not the greatest responsibility that we can have. Black women, this applies to you guys as well. Therefore, it is up to us to be very selective and direct when we have children. The more we create unstable environments and the more we perpetuate unstable environments and make that the norm by having baby showers instead of weddings, by having gender reveals instead of wedding invitations being sent out, we normalize the school to prison pipeline. We normalize this idea that a black child will not be successful except they pursue a degree in entertainment or athletics, which is essentially just another form of entertainment. This whole notion that black people are only locked into these specified niches and windows is because black people want to be seen. How we perceive, we care more about how we are perceived rather than what we receive. Because if we ain't receiving no land grants, if we're not receiving no money, if we're not receiving the things that are actually of tangible, legitimate value, guess who's winning? The YT oppressor that we're talking about. The oppressor, we're doing their work for them by continuing to perpetuate dysfunction. And that is the crux and the Achilles heel of the school to prison pipeline. It hinges, the success of the SPP school prison pipeline it hinges on the success of incompetent people making incompetent decisions to set up generations for failure rather than success. That is not a fault of women in full, by the way. That is largely a fault of our men. Women, y'all have to start having enough self-esteem to not give ain't shit niggas children. A lot of people, I heard a woman say this recently on a podcast as well, a lot of these women today have these babies because they feel sorry for themselves. A lot of these women have love misplacement issues where they want love so bad they will carry the child of a man that doesn't deserve to be a father, because all men don't deserve it. All men don't deserve access to your draws. And gentlemen, all women don't deserve access to your baby gravy. Pause. They don't. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. But we practice our culture is predominantly practicing non-safe sex, bad decision making, and poor coochie management. You practice all of those different things in conjunction, you are not going to have any sort of a stable society that is rooted in anything with objective reality. Because we are a feel-good, F the facts moving community. And when it's time to place blame, I place the blame on the person on the entity that has had more socioeconomic, economic, and political power. That is not black women. That is black men. Period. Point blank. End of story. Black men have had more political, economic, and socioeconomic power than black women have had for our entire existence. It is time for us, gentlemen, to start monitoring what we do. Because when we stop monitoring what we do, chaos will ensue. Period, point blank, end of story. We can end every issue that exists in the black community within 1.5 generations, but it requires us putting each other over everyone else first and foremost. If we do that and do it well, we'll be all right. Otherwise, we're going to continue the same gender war, nonsensical BS. I keep telling black people that it is no secret at all that we were at our strongest in the black community when we were led by religion. The civil rights movement was led by religious fanatics. Dr. King was caught up with getting in good trouble. Malcolm X was caught up with getting in good trouble because they feared God rather than man. It's that simple. And if you've made it this far in the video, go back and tell me who led the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, A. Philip Randolph, Walter Reuther, Jesse Jackson, Billy Kyle. These were preachers moving with purpose. not people pushing just a narrative.